like to thank Lazen for doing this. I'm sure all of us coaches that are in this time frame are excited about watching each other give their presentations, and it fills a void where we're not watching the basketball tournaments that are going on at this time. And it's also a great medication for us with the coronavirus shelter in place. So I'd like to get started by saying my goal today with everybody here is to basically share knowledge with everybody on basic shooting essentials and corrective measures that work for all ages. A lot of times coaches don't have the confidence and the knowledge to develop better shooters. After this session, I hope you, as a result, develop everybody on your team to be a great shooter, because the goal of a great team is to have 5 shooters on the floor at all times. When you address shooting flaws at an early age, it's primarily because of power problems, hand size, muscle mass differences. They basically have to chuck the ball to get it to the target. And a lot of times the shooting flaws don't show up until they get a little bit older, and so much of the force they try and create is rotational force, where they're turning their whole body. They're turning their waist, they're turning their upper body, they're turning their shoulders, they're turning their arm, they're turning their wrist, they're turning their hand, just to provide more power to the ball. And that's pretty important, that when you look at your shooters, it's pretty evident. And how do you want to do it? When I've worked with the countless number of people I've worked with, there's always 4 teaching points that I attack when I look at their shot. One, are they springing quick, which aids rhythm and power? Where is the ball when they jump to shoot it? Not when they actually shoot it, but where is the ball located when they shoot it? It should be at their waist, because the natural jumping skill of doing that, you're most comfortable with your arms at your waist. If you put your hands on top of your head and hands on your waist, you're not going to be as comfortable in that position. The other one is having your feet flow forward after you shoot the ball. It translates into ball momentum going in the direction of the target. It adds distance. I call it feet flowing forward, because it's kind of like it's after you shoot the ball. It allows a shooter to shoot with more ease and basically have a shot that's effortless power and not a powerful effort. And I learned this from Paul Hoover and Matt Williamson. They call it the sweep of the feet, and that's one of our 3 S's, which we'll get to a little bit later. And probably the most important one is I lower their arc and make it in a consistent mid-40s, because a lot of time they're under the fallacy of the higher your arc, the more surface space for the ball to go through the basket. Yes, that's true that there is more surface space. 2, and Hal Whistle said 3 balls can fit in there at the same time, but you only shoot 1. You only shoot 1. And you want to make sure that you have distance control or force management. You control your ball when you shoot it. And having a no machine absolutely helps that, but I want to teach everybody to be a human no machine. And I'd like to get into a little bit about basketball offensive greatness when you combine foot skills, and these are stops, starts, pivots, cuts, jumps, skips, gallops. Those foot skills combined with the ball skills of shoot, pass, and dribble, when you put those together, you develop a complete basketball player that has offensive proficiency. So it's very important that you understand that those 2 key elements should be involved in what you're teaching your players. The last part of the puzzle is sight skills. You know, obviously when I train somebody, when I work with somebody, when we work with our players, it's very important you treat them like a gymnast, an ice skater, a dancer, in terms of mastering certain movements with the ball. And then when you throw in the sight skills, it's basically doing the right thing at the right time based on a set of cues that are in front of them. So I wanted to make sure that everybody is on the same page in how I view basketball from an offensive standpoint. What comprises a made basket? You know, 2 things go into it: direction and force. You know, you have to shoot the ball straight and put the right amount of juice, power on the ball. So with that in mind, it's pretty important that you have complete understanding of the 3 S's. I want to simplify it. I want to make it easy. I don't want to make a beef, balance eyes, elbow, follow through the forest. All those are great. And it's very important that you make large cues from small cues. So basically, you spring with your feet. Most people, in terms of feel phrase, when I work with the younger players, they love when I make the spring sound, boing, 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 and they get the feel of springing off the ground when they shoot the ball. They want to snap their wrist. Hand position is really important. When you shoot a ball, no question about that, but when you snap your wrist, that covers all the position of your thumb, position of your offhand or your balance hand, and firm fingers through the ball. You want to snap your wrist, but have your fingers be firm through the ball. Sweeping your feet. You want to make sure that you're sweeping your feet, flowing forward and looking like a shooter. And the other thing, before I get to Clay, let's get to that young man that I worked with 2 years ago. All right, now we're going to show you a before picture of this is what you can do with somebody's shot. This is his first shot when I work with him. And you can see he's 6'5", 6'6", and we're going to press play. Go ahead and play it. All right, can you see that all right? All right, now let's analyze that. Show it again. Analyze that. Is he jumping quickly? All right, is he landing, flowing forward? Hop 1, 2. Where is the ball located when he jumps to shoot it? It's at his forehead. So 10 minutes later, we go to another one. All right, you get a good picture of that. All right, now let's go to the next one. All right, ball's at his forehead. He hasn't even jumped to shoot it yet. All right, a lot of times it's not so much the 1-2, although he's hopping 1-2. I call it the drunken cowboy 1-2, where they're hopping, land on 1, come to 2, and their rhythm becomes not very good. This is 10 minutes later. All right, go ahead. Okay, which one looks better? All right, where's the ball located when he jumps to shoot it? Okay, it can be a little bit lower. He can dip it lower and quicker, but look at the spring of his jump. Boing, it's springing up. All right, and he's flowing forward after he shoots the ball. So this is what you can do just by through that A, all right, and then we see B. Spring, snap, sweep your feet forward. And that's what you want in your mind, all right? Now, let's show Clay's shot, all right? We're going to show Klay Thompson, the most beautiful catch and shoot. You're going to see 8 of them right here. Flowing forward, all right? Notice the ball going in the net easily. Look at that is effortless power, all right? Why? Because that ball's at his waist when he jumps. He's springing quickly. He's flowing forward. Every ball goes right to his waist. Quick dip, like Nick Hauselman said, down up, right into his shot. And also notice where his release starts, right there on his way up. He doesn't have to hold it above his head. A lot of the three-point shooters now are developing at a young age this rhythm of their shot because of the three-point line. And it's pretty important. This is your model. Show this to your players. This is how you should shoot a catch and shoot. This is perfection right there. All right? Okay, let's go on. Everybody get a good view of that? That's melodic beauty. That is beautiful. Like a diamond. All right? Like a diamond. We don't have to sing that song. We're not going over finishes. All right. 3 S's. You're going to spring, you're going to snap, and you're going to sweep your feet. All right? Where do you start? Where do you start with when you get a youngster, whether it be, and don't be afraid to utilize any of these things against any age player, because it's pretty important you understand that you can do this to anybody. It took 10 minutes with that player right there. It took 10 minutes to get him having that shot. Now, it's up to him to develop the rhythm, the quickness of it through repetitions, but that's what you can do. So don't be afraid that you can't, quote, change somebody's shot. You can do it, and you can do it rather quickly. Where do you start? I start now with rhythm, and the reason I start with rhythm is 5 years ago, I had a 7th grade PE class, non-basketball players. I had 50 kids in the gym in line, and I thought, I'm going to start out with rhythm first. So I had them mimic the shooting motion without the ball, and I put them behind a line. And I want them to go through with their balls at their waist when they jump. Don't move their hands as they go up. They're without the ball. They land with their feet in front. And they do this repeatedly for 3 minutes. And what I discovered in 3 minutes when people came and looked in the gym is like, wow, they all have great looking shots. I said, no, not yet. I mean, we haven't gone over the release yet. But at least the rhythm was something they had, as a foundation that leads into having an effective shot. All right. Now we're talking about release and alignment now. We're going to show you a couple pictures of this, and it depends on where the release is. Now this is my deal. And like I didn't say it at the start, you have your own way of teaching shooting, which is great. This is my way of doing it. I don't expect you to adopt my way. This is just what works for me. And I'm going to show you 3 or 4 different balance stance and shooting mechanic points right here. First one is Steph and Clay right next to each other. Notice that the ball is slightly to their right. When the ball is slightly to the right, they're going to be turned, okay? That elbow is not directly underneath the ball. Some kids come in and their father or whoever were obsessed in getting their elbow right underneath the ball. No, as long as you have your hand behind the ball and you got your shoulder, elbow is going to be slightly out anatomically, and you're going to shoot the ball. So Steph has a little bit more of a turn than Clay because his ball is slightly more to the right. See the middle of the ball? It doesn't go up to his forehead. Now let's show Porzingis. So Porzingis has the ball, look at the ball. It's right on top of his head. His stance would probably be a little bit more centered or 10 toes to the rim or squared shoulders. I call it railroad tracks. This is how I was taught to shoot. My models were John Havlicek when I shot the ball. I was at the free throw line, 1960s, watching him shoot free throws, Sunday morning, watching him shoot free throws, and most of you guys that are my age will vividly remember that. Let's show the other one. So his alignment would be different than Stephen Clay because he releases the ball in the middle of his forehead. Excuse me. Let's go Lonzo Ball. All right. So this is a picture of Lonzo this year. And I've said all along to the people that I've worked with that Lonzo, to fix his shot, has to get his feet correct. He releases middle of his head to the left side, but it looks hideous when his feet are facing, let's say, 10 o'clock on a clock or 9 o'clock. And when you look at that, you go like, that's not a bad looking shot. And we have a video of it. Can we show the video of that shot? Okay. We're going to fast forward through J.J. Redick, all right, and get to this. This is a hop turn. All right, you people don't say he's traveling, please. He's, feet are in the air, catch, spring, snap, sweet his feet. How does that look? Ball flight, perfect, arc, perfect. That looks terrific. He's dipping the ball at his waist. He's springing. That's in slow motion. But nice illegal screen, too, by that guy, too. Look at that. We won't mention that, all right? So that's Lonzo on video and on a pick. The last thing for you coaches that coach youngins, all right? We got Steph, we got Clay, now we have the young girl on that pick. Where's that young girl? Oh, excuse me. That's all right. Technical difficulties. Okay, look at this. She's got a great angle of her ankles are flexed, her knees are flexed, her hips are flexed. Really important that the coaches of younger kids, boys or girls, put them in that, where's the ball? When she's jumping, ball's at her waist, all right? Nice body balance. She's got everything loaded, ready to exhibit and be able to put out as much power as that possibly can. And the efficiency of her jump has to be quick. We'll go over that in a little while. But I noticed as a younger coach that I was a baseball player, and I noticed the efficiency and rhythm of people that can elicit lots of power. Pitchers, little 5-foot girls just throwing gas. How do they do that? It's pretty much the efficiency of moving their body together as one to create that power. All right, let's move on. Thank you. I've never really heard anybody talk about this. Your jump has to be the same every single shot. It might be different, but for consistency of your force management, if you jump slowly one time and jump quickly the next, the power of your shot is with the spring of your jump. The power of the shot is with the spring of your jump. You don't bend your legs. Visualize the difference between Draymond Green's shot and Stephen Clay's shot. They're springing into their shot. Lillard, all the great shooters. Draymond Green takes a step, drops his knees, bends his knees, and that's basically a hitch or a delayed shot. It's a power leak. In other words, I say there's power. You're leaking air when you shoot like that. All right. Different ways to get your players to have a springy jump. You actually jump rope, not for a long time, just 30 seconds, where they're bouncing off the ground, 2 inches off the ground, boing, boing, boing. Have them scissor their feet before they catch the ball. They're scissoring back and forth, back and forth. Machine gun feet, they're chopping their feet really fast. All right, mini hurdle jump. Put a small hurdle down or anything, and they jump over it. They feel the spring of their shot. And the last thing is have them spring 3 times when they're shooting against the wall, which we'll go over later. They're springing 3 times, and they shoot it on the 3rd shot. Every shot has to be the same. And a lot of times, they won't jump the same on the 3rd one. They'll spring the first 2, and then there's a delayed reaction off there, and you have to make a correction. No, we want you to spring. And a lot of times the kids feel like, and even the younger adults are feeling like they're rushing their shot. No, you're not rushing your shot. You're just speeding up the dip, speeding up the actual release of the ball. All right? Everybody with me? Beautiful. Wall shooting. This is to develop arc. So you've got everything down pat in terms of the release, the rhythm, and the spring. This is the big thing that we work on with my players and my team and the individual people that I work with. The whole thing is the process of hitting the same spot every single time. And what you're doing is you're tuning their shot, or what I could say, computer program it. We're programming their shot to be the same arc every single time. So it's crucial that you put them approximately 14 feet distance away from the wall. You mark a spot 14 feet high. What you want to do is make that spot something to where it's just about at the top of the backboard, about 14 feet high or a little bit higher. Now, the purpose of that is to hit the spot at the apex of the flight of the ball. So after the ball would hit that spot, it would be on its downward trajectory toward the rim. So I'm making my finger here. I hope you can see. Can they see my finger?
Should.
Okay. It's my index finger, I might add. That is how you want the ball to hit, at a 45-degree angle. So I'm shooting the ball like this, all right, and I'm hitting that spot. So on the downward flight, right there at my knuckle, that ball would, after it hits that wall, it would be going down. So what you're doing is you're repeating the same shot over and over again. And as a result of that, your players are concentrating on the process. There's no results. The process is just hit the spot. And they can experience a lot of success doing that. They don't have to basically stress about it. They can hit the spot. And I say to players all the time, I can pick 50 people walking off the street. And the person that comes in and can hit that spot, at our gym, we have basketballs superimposed on a banner, and our girls hit that middle of the ball right there at the spot, at the top of the backboard. If you don't have a wall, you can hit the top of the backboard from approximately 12, 13 feet away because the rim is out a little bit. You can hit that top of the backboard working on direction and tuning their shot to be the same every single time. Let's show my team doing form shooting against the wall. So this is 2 of my players. You might hear my commentary in here. Okay, run it. Okay, so this is at our auxiliary gym. And notice the spot on the wall. You take the arrow there and point where their spot on the wall is. She's aiming to hit the same spot every single time. Every single time. And we've hit that spot. Basically, she's aiming at a spot equidistant to that line right there. 14 feet from the wall every single time. Let's play that again. And notice the flip. I don't have them spin the ball. I have them flip, all right? You want to mimic a pass that's coming. You're going to get an air pass most of the time from different angles. What they're doing is a hop turn shot. This is the normal shot right there, a normal catch and shoot. You want 5 players on the floor that can hit that shot. If you do, and they can play defense, you're going to be a great team. You need 5 shooters. Let's show that again. All right, so everybody gets it. I want everybody to get it. See the height of the rim there? They're hitting that spot after the ball hits that wall. it's going down, and it's going to be entering the rim at a perfect mid-40s arc. And like I said earlier, most of the time, I have to lower people's arc because they've been bamboozled, hornswoggled, fooled into thinking the higher the arc, the better shooter I'll be. And as a matter of fact, when I watch a team warm up that we're playing, if I see everybody's arc on their shots being too high or fluctuating, I know that they're not going to be a great shooting team because they don't have control of the ball. Okay, let's go over the catch and shoot foundation of a catch and shoot. Everybody should have a catch and shoot. I teach the hop. I accept the 1-2. I think a hop is more effective. Thank you, Beck Flanagan, is because it's a little bit quicker, but it also puts you in a position to catch and attack the drive right as your feet hit the ground. And I'll go over that, the split, in a little bit. But it's not a jump stop. It's a quick stop. As Coach Nick said, he likes 2 inches height. I love it too. It's a mini hop. And you want to hop off 2 and land on 2. A lot of times kids will step as the ball's in flight, hop when they catch the ball, and I don't like that travel call. So they have ball in the air, feet in the air, hands on the ball when they get their feet in the air, and they land, and then they're going to spring snap and sweep their feet. I like a stagger stance before the catch with younger players because they have to get everything they've got and getting the ball there. This drops their hips. So when you start in a stagger stance, you want to make sure that your feet are like this and your hips are loaded. And then when you land, you don't have to reload. You're ready to spring. You use that plyometric action of a quick spring into your shot. Everybody on your shot, anybody on your team should have a quick 0.5 to 0.6 catch and shoot release. Okay? If you go back, could you show them the first one of the slow one of Patrick? So we're going to show you that slow catch and shoot. There you go. All right. We timed this. It took him 0.99 to shoot the ball. Okay? 0.99. That means that he's not open right when he catches. He's going to take him 4 hours. I call that there's a 5-hour energy that you take. That's a 5-hour catch and shoot. That's not very good. Now we show you the next one, which was timed in 0.63. Still can be better, but this is 0.63. Spring, snap, sweep. And visually, you can just see that looks better. You know, that looks better. That's how Klay Thompson shoots the ball. And Klay in that video, that he was around 0.58 to 0.63, and he wasn't even trying. And that was fluidity right there. And that 0.5, 0.6 release time, each 1/10 of a second. I learned this from Mike Krukow, an announcer here in the San Francisco Giants. He said when somebody steals second base, that a 0.1 seconds equals 3 feet. And I looked at that and go like, gee, that's interesting. So you add a 1/10 to that, that's, 1 second every 30 feet, or 10 seconds every 300 feet, or 10 seconds in 100. That's a fast human being too. But that means 2 to 3 feet of space. So just by lowering somebody's catch and shoot release time, it's pretty well on their catch and shoot, catch and drive mentality. You can attack players in a closeout. All right. Dip, load, tuck, however you want to do it. I like the word load and tuck as compared to dip because I explain it to people like it's not nice to call somebody a dip. So dip has a negative connotation, but this is one of the major things that, yeah, it's good to dip the ball. The ball goes down as your feet come down. So on the catch, you're going to catch it wherever it is. Got to be a good pass. As your feet come down, the ball comes down. It goes down, up in equal manner to where it goes down quick, goes up quick. Most of the time when people dip the ball too low, which is a coaching cue that so many coaches say, yeah, I don't like how they dip the ball. And it's like, well, it's not the dip of the ball that's bad. He's jumping too slow. If your dip is low, your jump is slow. People remember that. If your dip is quick, your shot will be quick, and you won't lower the ball lower than your waist. Although when you look at Ray Allen's shot, he dipped it down to his thigh, and he was still jumping pretty quick because that ball was moving at the speed of sound. Let's talk 1-2 shooting first. Let's go over Klay's shot. Yeah, good job. feet in the air in the catch. Notice that he should be passing from different angles from the side. Anytime you catch the ball from the side, you divide your body up into 3 areas. Yeah, look at that quick dip of the ball. Whoop, right into a shot. Whoop, right into a shot. And those sound effects help your kids too. Could you show that again? Show that again. Yeah. When the pass comes from either angle, one of the key things is the ball's never going to come up from the gun or duck or dish all the time. You have to increase your ability to shoot from passes coming from the point to wing or wing to point, or guard to guard or guard to wing. Your head has to be looking at the ball, but your body has to be already in line with your target. It could be your shoulder in line with the target, or it could be your body, depending upon where you release the ball. 1-2 shooting. I'm happy to say that I do teach a 1-2, but it's a step 1-2, not a hop 1-2. A hop 1-2 gives me the feeling I'm a drunken cowboy. Yeehaw! 1-2. Bottom. All right? That's what you want to eliminate. A lot of times kids will come over, I 1-2 my shot. And I watch it. It's a hop 1-2. You're hopping. You're just landing with 1 and then 2 sounds. It's easier to get out of rhythm that way because the ball starts coming up before the 2. So when you step 1-2, you want to time your dip. As you catch the ball and step, you're dipping the ball down. All right. And right when your second foot comes forward, the ball's at your waist, you spring into your shot. You can have a really quick catch and shoot off a 1-2. And you want to train your players to have the variety, be able to do either one, because it's easier to hop, catch, and shoot off a good pass. But a lot of times passes aren't in the right spot. You just catch the ball, look at your teammate, call him an idiot for not giving you a good pass, and tap your foot and spring into your shot. So the ball is always at your waist to spring, snap, and sweep. All right. So now you have all of that against the wall, and now you're ready to do batting practice. Batting practice is the same spot every single time to basically get your feeling of that. And after they get the confidence, then you want to extend their range out to the 3. I want our players, in terms of a catch and shoot, to start 17, 18 feet away. And then as they get loose and lock in and zone in, they gradually move back to the 3-point line. Basically, it's the consistency they want, and they have to see the ball go in. When you want to extend somebody's range, you go back to the wall to work on process. And I got this. It's the same concept as baseball long toss. So when somebody wants to stretch out their arm, they want to throw the ball at the same height that they throw to increase basically the distance of their throw, but keep the ball low so it gets to the base a little bit quicker. They don't want to throw it 100 feet up in the air to get it there. They want to throw it on a direct line. So I took that from baseball. A lot of things, when you transfer things from other sports, it really drives home a point to your players. And this is extending their range. So you put them against a wall and you gradually move farther back to stretch their range. So if they're a youngster, you can gradually move them back. And as soon as you see form disintegration, you say, all right, this is where you get it. You need to spring for the power. Make sure you sweep your feet forward and start that ball at your waist when you jump. And that's how you can extend their range. All right? Do we want to ask questions now, Lazen, or do you want me to?
Yeah, Doc, let me throw out a couple questions here that we got during the early part of the presentation. Do you care if shooters' heels are off the floor before they start their shot? I notice it in a lot of poor shooters. They start on their toes.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're on the pads of your feet and you spring from that. How do you jump effectively when you're on your heels, you're on the tops of your tippy toes? You want to make sure you're on your pads of your feet. All right, you're on the balls of your feet. Sometimes people get a misrepresentation of your toes, balls of the feet. You're not on your toes. You want to make sure your ankles are flexed, ready to spring right when you land. So that's my feeling on that.
Okay, next question. Please explain the emphasis of dip as it relates to rhythm.
The rhythm of the shot. When people jump their best, and you watch, I'm using this from Scott Peters, a great coach in Palo Alto here, said to me that I make the illusion that I don't want you to be a middle blocker when you shoot. I want you to be an outside hitter. So obviously you can't hold the ball behind your back and bring it through your body, but where your arms are when you jump with rhythm. Now, let's talk about rhythm and skills. Somebody has good rhythm, body moves together in one sequential manner. Their joints are moving and they're flowing into the shot. When you watch that Klay Thompson dip, doesn't that look beautiful? Sometimes Klay doesn't dip, and I guarantee you his percentage goes down when he quickly shoots the ball because his rhythm is bad. You lose a little bit of power when you start your shot in terms of jumping with the ball in your pocket or on the way up. It's like a power leak. You need that down up. It's like a rubber band. It's like a golf swing. It's like Coach Nick showed a great example in the video with Dan Marino. Has a quick release. Well, where does he start first? Whoop. He takes the ball back. Whoop, it's gone. So that's the purpose of the dip, for rhythm and power. It just feels good. And a lot of time coaches wean that out of players, and I have to bring it back in. And the thing I want to make sure to emphasize is the fact that these are natural changes. Your arm should be located at your waist when you jump. It feels better to do it that way. And a lot of times it gets trained out of them, and it's too bad. It's too bad. So that's my feeling on that. That's a good question.
Next question is, would you say not jumping as high allows for a more consistent jump?
No question. No question about that. You want that jump to be athletic, springy, bouncy, elastic, but it's controlled, defined, and disciplined. It's at the same height every single time. It used to be, back in the day, people, when they thought of a jump shot, you jump as high as you can, and you start your release at the peak of your jump. And as a result of that, you start engaging lower amounts of muscle mass to shoot the ball. I can cite the example of somebody I work with that wanted me to give him the cue of eighth grade shot. He changed his shot from eighth grade to freshman year because he was under the fallacy of the higher my release point start, the less chance I'll get the shot block. Now, if you saw the pictures of Klay and Steph, their release from the palm of their hand is basically almost eye level or a little bit eye level. That's how kids develop that three-point shot. Rick Barry referred to it as a jet shot later in his career, where you're jumping in the same timing level that you're shooting the ball. You're not jumping and then shooting the ball. And getting back to this man that I work with, it's pretty important that he lost when you shoot the ball in here. All right, you get a little bit of your pecs and a little bit of deltoids in it. When you shoot the ball above your forehead, which a lot of people do, a lot of dads and coaches, male coaches primarily, will want their daughters to hold it above their head so they don't get their shot blocked. And it's like, no, it's how quickly you release the ball. And when you hold it above your head, you're minimizing the range they shoot from, and then they start catapulting the ball. Well, what are they doing when they catapult? They're engaging their lats in throwing the ball. And that's exactly what this man did when he shot the ball. He never had a great shot in high school or college. And when I started working with him, we had to bring his release point down, and he became a very effective shooter. And as the years went on, he wanted to even bring it lower to have a shot that was a lot quicker. So that's my feeling on that.
Last question, and I'll let you get back to the presentation. When you say 1-2, is it 2 steps, or is it 1 foot stationary and the other foot stepping it?
Great question. You want to step as the ball's in flight. And when you catch the ball, you have a foot already firmly on the ground. And then as your foot is coming down, the ball is coming down. So that means if I'm stepping with my left, all right, I'm planting that. As I catch the ball, I load it, and I jump quick into the shot. As soon as my right foot, my second of the 1-2, hits the ground, you're springing on the shot. So it's essentially the same feel. In other words, you're still having the ball at your waist when you jump and you spring into your shot. Look at Draymond Green's shot. All right. So when he steps in, he plants his foot. What does his foot do? It reloads. And that's the feeling of, and that's not great. So it's pretty important that you time that mechanism really well. I didn't put my email down on this thing. So after the presentation's over, People feel free to email me. I'll send you a video of a nice step 1-2 where you're stepping into your shot. It can be almost as quick, but like I said, you don't get to attack closeout with that right away. You have to pause and then drive. With the hop, you can split your feet because your feet are in the air when you catch the ball and ready to attack the defender.
That's a good segue to start talking about the split.
Sure. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about mindset. I tell players, when you catch the ball, I want you to be a weapon on the catch. You're a weapon on the catch. If you have a quick release, you can get your shot off against a lot of closeout defenders. So it's pretty important that you have that mindset. I'm a weapon on the catch. And I want to just go over mindset right now. I mean, people shoot their best when they know it's going in. As they want it to go in, as they hope it goes in, as they're begging, as they're praying, what is increasing as that goes? Stress. And stress starts to slow you down, tighten you up. The ball does not go in. When you ask a great shooter who is shooting well, hey, what were you thinking about when you were shooting? And they give this look like this. I don't know. It's like, right, you're not thinking about anything. And you want their snap to be assertive and confident. You want them to be carefree, not careful. That's the shooter's mindset you want them to be. Next one is always in. They can celebrate their makes, ignore their misses. And that's the best shooter mentality to have. They're always as good as their next shot. And so many times, kids will miss their first 2 shots. Well, I'm not going to shoot anymore. I'm not on today. It's like, what? Are you kidding? The next one's always in. And that's pretty important to have. Unique thing, plan to shoot, react to drive. All right? Every time I'm catching the ball, my plan is to shoot it. That's my plan. I'm planning to shoot. My reaction is to drive. And I took this as a hitting mentality, baseball or softball. You're playing against somebody who throws gas. You want to make sure that you're planning to shoot every ball. Baseball players plan to hit every pitch unless they got the take sign or whatever, but they're planning to hit it. And then when the ball's out of the zone, what do? Up. They take it for a strike, not a pitch I can hit, or they take it outside the strike zone. I want my players to plan to shoot every single time. And they'd be amazed that they'll get more shots when they play just with that mentality. That's pretty important. Let's get to the split and the drive, all right? Do we have a video of a good split here? Yeah, we do. Yeah. All right. Catch and shoot, catch and drive, all right? You plan to shoot and you react to split. So let's watch her feet. This is beautiful. Good. So let's stop it after on the catch. Feet are in the air and a catch. Right there. Look. You're allowed to shoot it or drive it. Her feet split. Stop it right when she splits. Good. Good. Right there. Perfect. Stop it right there. Pretty important. Could you put the arrows at the position? Look at that. Width of the stance. We have a drill we do called the X drill. You put an X right there. I think somebody else markets a product or something like, he might even be watching today, that where he puts dots. I don't know who that is, but I have an X. I didn't take it from him. I just said, well, we got to develop a great catch and drive. And her feet are in the air on the catch. She splits. She lands. Where's her head? Exactly on top of her feet. So many things they do wrong when you teach this. Look at the angle of her push. Her foot is facing that way. This foot is slightly forward, but her pushing leg is right there. The most important step you take on the drive is your first step. If that person the closeout person is 6 feet moving in, this is your reaction. It's easy to train. You just play lots of closeout one-on-one, or you play dummy closeout. A dad or a coach can give you that feeling of boom, good. It's a nice crossover step, eyes forward. She might get stripped of the ball on the recovering defensive player, but that's not the purpose of this. Split, sprint, and you can go either way with that drive. You can split the other way if you read that closeout person on the other side. You can do this on a pass from point to wing, catch and drive right away, but this is on a closeout, on a draw and kick, out of post kick out of offensive rebound attack. Drive and kick. You can do it off baseline drive, baseline drift. Anytime, pick and pop. You get a closeout. The goal of every offense and every offensive action should be designed to get a closeout. Can we do that picture again there? The catch and drive. Look at that stance. It's perfect. Explosive back leg push. And I always make a point to my players and the kids I work with. If she squats 200 pounds and I squat 20, she's going to have a better push. Look at the angle of her push of her leg. Boom, right there. Pushing angle, shin angle. Lee Taft, thank you very much for talking about that in your basketball speed video. The split and sprint is the most important foot skill in basketball. This is how you start. This is how you help and recover. This is how you turn somebody on a drive. You do a mini hip turn and you split in that position. This is you at your explosive best. It's also a great start when you fill a lane, you have them split and sprint. The angle of your push is really, really important. So like I said, close out one-on-one. Have them read that closeout. If you're a coach and you're working with your player and you don't want to close out, you can tell them shot or drive. As they catch the ball, you tell them to shoot or drive, and they respond to your verbal cue. Normally in basketball, you respond to their visual cue, and it's harder with a verbal cue. So you tell them shot and drive right as they're catching the ball. And you want to make it easy at first so they don't lower their self-esteem, all right? You want to make it easy to be able to do it. And like I said, this is a key component of having an offense where it's 0.5 hold the ball. I'm going to catch and shoot. I'm going to catch and drive. I pass the ball. I don't want our players, unless we're going to set a ball screen and
these are the keys, I think, to your
be stagnant like that. I don't want them holding the
Cabinets.
ball. I want us to take advantage of the disheveled defense. That's a big word. It makes me sound like I'm smart. Disheveled defense to where they can attack right away. And the whole purpose of every offensive action is to create that advantage, disadvantage that Brian so astutely talked about. It's huge in terms of offensive flow. And you want your kids to be in a position, your shooters with 5 shooters on the floor, they want to hunt down their catch and shoot threes. It's the easiest three to hit. It's your meat and potatoes. I call it, it's trick or treat time. It's the easiest shot to hit. Everybody on the team can do that if you're capable of handling what we're going over here today and be able to put it into play. It works. Trust me on that. Is there any questions from anybody, Lazen, on the split and sprint?
Actually, there is. Let me read
Okay.
this one here.
Is it a good question?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Do you want your players to be able to split and sprint with both the right and left foot, or do you have the players use their dominant foot, split and sprint, or take the scissor step?
When you're driving left, your right foot is back. When you're driving right, your left foot is back. So, interesting note, a lot of times people have stronger legs. Most males I work with that are right-handed, their left leg is much stronger than their right, because that's the Olympic athlete they've developed, because they drive right every time with a hesitation. They'll dunk off their left leg, and you try and have them dunk off their right foot, and it's like, oh my God, it's just disgusting. And as a result of that, they do not explode to their left very well. It's not because they don't have a good left hand. It's because their right leg isn't as strong and as capable of handling that. So answer to that question, you want to split and be able to go either way. And then when they get pretty advanced, when you toss them the ball, just when you're doing reps of the catch and drive, do it without a defense and master it. And I have a drill called the X drill that really helps a lot with that, because they have a visual of where their feet should be to push at the correct angle to be as quick as they can be. It's something that they have to really kind of learn at first, and then develop that when they do it. And keep in mind, with that split, they don't want to 1-2 it, because they're transferring their weight. That usually is the biggest thing I have to correct in players that have learned kind of a split and sprint, that they'll land with their front foot, or land with their back foot first, their front foot, and then butt ump, and they go. And they start transferring their weight before their right foot hits the ground. And by the time it hits the ground and they drive, it's like they have a 20% push. I want them to be 50-50 when their feet land. And like I said, lifting weights, training to be stronger will help your first step as long as your mechanics in terms of how you land is great.
Okay, Coach, we got about 10 minutes.
Beautiful. Do I have 10 more minutes left? Shooting situation mastery. Every shot in your bag. I want players to have a golfer's mentality. And I ask players all the time, do you know any really good golfers? You know, they really play a lot, that are scratch golfers at a young age or whatever age. Well, when they go to the driving range, when they go to the course, they practice 5 hours on every shot in their bag. And there's not one different shooting situation that I want a player to feel uncomfortable. Everything should feel the same. And the reason why is because the ball is at your waist when you jump to shoot it. There are several different catch and shoot shots. I didn't write them down, but they are hop turns. They are shot fake reload. They are pass fake shoot it. There are catch and drive fake and shoot it. There are different angles of which you hop turn at 60, at 90, at 120, at 180. A lot of times when you set stagger screens or elevator screens or just basically down screens, you're coming off that. And I want them to hop into that shot. I want them to do a hop turn into that shot. So those are the different, and basically look at a shooter and divide their shooting situations like an outline form. You have your catch and shoot, you have your off dribble shots, and you have your triple threat shots. And when you want to be a complete shooter, the mastery of your catch and shoot is the foundation, but then you start expanding that into harder shots. And the off dribble shots I'm talking about, and this is a key teaching point. I don't have a video for it, of which I'm sorry, but the hand of the ball, if you're a 1-2 in a mid range, the hand of the ball doesn't come to the ball until your second foot hits the ground, that second foot. And that will ensure a quick shot. And the key thing is a defender knows I'm going to shoot or drive off a dribble. When? As soon as that hand comes to the ball. So when you drive and kick, you want to develop a quick drive and kick pass that doesn't tell the defensive player you're passing until you pass. If you're going to go opposite with the pass, you're going to drive, draw the defense, bring the ball above your head and whip it to the weak side, because most of the help nowadays comes from the weak side. And that's where you can take advantage of a weak side drop defender and get somebody in a long closeout on that opposite pass. But shooting off the dribble, there are several different shots off a dribble. You can go between your legs and hop off a dribble. You can go around your legs and hop off the dribble. There's so many difficult shots that you can take. Transition 3 off a dribble. Pitch ahead to the 2 or the 3 up the court. They take one dribble and they hit a pull. What I like to explain to players, not just in shooting, but every shot you have in your bag, you should have a drive that goes with that. You have a catch and shoot, you have a catch and drive. You have a catch and shoot, you have a shot fake drive. You have a catch and drive, you have a catch and drive fake and a shot. Every shot off a dribble, you should be able to perform the split off the dribble. In other words, when I take a dribble back and I'm hopping back, if I read the defender and I have no separation, I'm splitting my feet into that stance. And if anybody wants to watch DJ Sackman, he does a great job of breaking down the split off a dribble. It's awesome. Triple threat. This is my meat and potatoes. I taught triple threat primarily for a long, long time. And I'm a weapon on the catch. You have a set of moves you do in triple threat. It's a rocker step. You have a triple threat crossover. You have a drive fake. I call it a drive fake, not a jab, because I'm faking the drive. I'm also into my shot. This is where you don't have a big advantage on a defensive player. And I've noticed this watching players play one-on-one off a catch and close out. Offensive wins all the time. There's no way to guard somebody in a closeout. Off a dribble, offensive wins a lot of the time. In triple threat, it gets close to even. If you have a great triple threat skills, it's an advanced shot, but you can sell the drive and shoot into the shot. So those are mastering all those shots. Practice content. When you have practice content, preparation shooting, the first thing they do, they work on their release against the wall. About 6 feet from the wall, work on their release every single time. And then they back up a little bit farther. And then they start their wall shooting and working on different situations. So what you saw in that video, you want to show the video really quick before we get to the question? Show the video of Hannah and Clara doing that. They go through their progressions against the wall. And this is what you do when you walk in the gym. After they do their band work and their warm up, they go right to the wall. And right now she's in the hop turn. It's not in sequential order. But this is what they do. They go off a dribble, they go off hop turn, they go triple threat shots. They do it where it's all process oriented before they even shoot at a basket. The next thing they do, you start your shooting drills. They get with a partner, they start at batting practice range, and they move out. Coaches, it's really important. This is huge. You are the human Noah machine. You don't need a Noah machine, although I have one. But I've learned to have a Noah eye, to where you're watching everybody's shot from midcourt, and you need to be a hornet to watch people's shot. It's your job that everybody has arc consistency. The key individual reminders you give people feel cues and phrases. Make it one word: snap, spring, snap your fingers, firm fingers through the ball, dip the ball, quick dip, and then that gets them in the mode of being a great shooter. And then you get into your actions with your drills, to where you work on your specific actions. You can do different team drills. I mean, Coach Neighbors has just an exorbitant amount of drills. I have a lot of shooting drills and games and competition to make it fun, to where you can measure your kid's shooting ability. And I can use one of my players as an example. Maybe she's watching. Hannah jumped +1, -2, +33 for 2 minutes. So she shot for 2 minutes. She made 35 out of 36 threes, standing, same spot. Repetition, confident shooting. So those are the shooting games you can do. Draw a kick, draw a drag, dribble handoff, off ball screens. You have to mimic your drills and shooting situations with that. Last thing, hard shots, easy shots, uphill, downhill. A harder shot is coming off a pin down screen or a double stagger, or getting an elevator screen in different spots. You're running away from the basket, and you've got to hop turn or turn and face the basket. Those are hard shots. Those are uphill shots. The easy shots that you want, you can alternate between hard and easy shots. The shots you want are situations to where you can vary it. Okay? There you go. How about questions? That's my email right there. You see that? Somebody's asleep. Did I put people to sleep?
No, we're here.
Okay. I can't hear them. Volume higher? Yes. All right, beautiful. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, go right ahead. Any more questions?
Yeah, let me ask you this. Transition wing threes. How do you train with the jump moving slightly to the basket? I would see inconsistency based on the sprint speed. Thoughts?
Yeah. You know, the thing I learned, I can't remember who taught it to me, but, you know, the first step speed, they're sprinting up the court. And after the first 3 or 4 steps, they're gliding. And then when they get in that I think maybe it was Patino, that chop your feet, short, stop, and chop. And that will stop your forward momentum. That is really a downhill shot. Keep in mind, I when you talk about teams and stuff, I developed this philosophy of playing basketball basically watching Rick Pitino's team in 1987. Shoot threes. Billy Donovan, Delray Brooks, Pop Lewis. I mean, I do a great Pitino imitation, you know. On my left, Billy the Kid Donovan. On my right, Pop Lewis. 2 major reasons why we made it to the Final Four. All right? I can visualize that instruction video firmly in my mind. I drove my wife nuts with this video. Oh, there's Pitino again. But you learn so much. This was the first team to use the three-point shot as a weapon on the catch. I learned the hop in the mid-'80s from watching Danny Ainge, Steve Kerr, John Paxson, Jim Paxson. These people hop. They looked at me as some kind of, leper. Like, you teach the Pinewood hop? No. Do you watch basketball? Do you watch people? They hop on some people hop on their shot. And when people talk, even on the television now, look, boy, he has a quick release. It's like, dude, are you watching? I mean, he's hopping on his shot. That's why they have a quick release. It's very, very effective because you're in automatic balance when you land with one sound. That's the key when you teach younger players. They're automatically in balance. Balance is a crucial component of shooting. Balance, release, rhythm. Okay, your balance is there. Your feet are spread where your head can fit in between your feet. So sorry I went on a tangent, but you can see I have no energy, no enthusiasm for shooting.
Younger coaches, yes, I would recommend going back and finding those Petito instructional videos. Those were the best. I guess that's really what started the whole world of instructional videos in some ways.
Sure. Hey, listen, you know, our teams, this style